Hello and welcome back to the shop. And I know it's been a while, but today we have another Gerstner to refinish. So this one is a little different than the rest in more ways than one. This one is leatherette, a leatherette finish. And it's actually in pretty good shape on the leatherette side. But it's a completely different style of Gerstner box that you don't really see that often in the wild. I've seen them online, I've never actually seen one in person, but I found this one local. Jumped on the chance to get it. Has a few issues which we can totally fix, but why don't we take a closer look and see what we got over here. Okay, so this is the last one that we did, and this is our new one. So besides the leatherette, you can see we got a little bit of a difference going on here. This one has the size of the height and width of the larger, or depth rather, of the larger 042 11 drawer boxes. This one's a 7 drawer. But when I open it up, this one, that is as far as the top will open on this, and this one has the felt in it that we've replaced. And you can see what that looks like on the inside. This one's a little bit different. This top will open up flat because it has these trays in it. Okay, we'll get a closer look at that in a second. And the inside here, you can see, is set up different. And you can see this white painted metal on here. Now all these drawers have this painted steel bottom. There is no felt in this box, and it was never meant to have felt. This is an 040, I believe, a 10E, Model 10E Dentis box. This was built for dentists. These trays that are steel were meant for dentist tools, and we'll take a closer look at that in 1 second. So here's a view of those top trays. You can see there's little cutouts for all the tools, and actually there is still a tool list in the bottom of this. It says knives, HF Kirkland, that's a brand, files, 115 scalers, those are the big pick things. So these held all your dentist tools. So the one problem we have with this box, besides it being normally dirty and this handle being dead, Gerstner does not have a replacement handle for this. At least it's not listed on their website. I'm sure if I call them and try to find it, they'll probably make something for a fee, but I'm working on finding a local source for that. But we're missing a drawer. It came without this drawer, and you can see it's an oddball size, so you can't really interchange a drawer from a standard toolbox. Now Gerstner will make you a box, will make you a drawer. You got to send them all of the measurements, and it's like 115 bucks for a drawer, and they'll give you the knob and whatever color felt you want. Now I think that's unfinished. Finished is like 130 bucks or 125 bucks, and then 190 bucks is color match to what you have. So you would have to send them one of these drawers, they would match it, and then you'd go from there. Now I do have this drawer. So obviously this drawer is too wide, but the height is the same, okay? And the length is a little bit different. This is 1 inch shorter than these, but it's not that much. I mean, it'll still fit in there and still work. The biggest difference between these is just this little front bead. It's larger on this box than it is on here. Not that huge of a thing. I mean, I think if I really wanted to be anal retentive about it, I could probably go in there with some sort of tool and make it resemble this a little bit more, but we'll just leave it as is for right now. So we're going to basically modify this one. We're going to modify the width, take it apart, rebuild this box, and use this for our drawer, and try to color match this as best as we can to the original box. We're not going to get 100% perfect, but we're going to get close. Also, some of this white steel here has a little bit of rust on it, which I'm sure we can get off. So right now is the cleanup phase. So what I'm going to do right now, all this hardware is in relatively good shape. It just needs to be polished. Some of the nickel and stuff is off. I haven't decided whether or not I want to replace these. I probably don't. Or I'm going to try to at least clean them up and see what they look like, because they came up pretty well in this box, and this box looked in a little bit worse shape. These are, the nickel's gone on these. These are rusted. Each one of these poles is about 10 bucks from Gerstner. So you look at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, you look at 100 bucks in draw pulls there. So we're going to try to reuse all that if we can. I'm sure I can get some of that rust off. So we're going to take everything off that is detachable. So the only thing that I cannot take off without taking out rivets is going to be this lock, the handle, and the hinges in the back. All these other fittings are screwed on. Those can come off. And we're going to, wood-wise, cleanliness looks pretty good. We're just going to need a, you know, normal wash down and stuff. It's got that been in the cellar for 50 years, musty smell going on. Part of that is probably soaked into this paper, this leatherette covering, which we also need to clean. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and take everything off. Everything's flathead screws. These knobs screw in. Flathead screws hold everything on except for the main lock plate, the hinge, and the hinges in the back, and the handle. Those are riveted. Those split rivets that go through and then back. Now the inside doesn't have felt, but it does have that leatherette covering stretch along the inside. So I don't want to mess with that. Leatherette is in really good shape. There's no real tears in it. There's a couple of little lines here and there, but nothing. The worst of it is basically right here. There's a little line here, and right about here there's a fold line that is probably a seam of some sort, or now that looks like a scratch, but that sucker's straight across. We can kind of blend that in. Redoing the leatherette on the excuse me, on these is kind of a process. Not only do you have to take the old stuff off, but everything folds around and loops around the edges. It's like wrapping a giant present, and I suck at wrapping presents. That's why I use bags for Christmas. So I don't want to do that. We just want to clean this up. So let me go ahead and take all of these fittings off. They have some rust on it, so I'm going to soak them. I'm going to put them in the ultrasonic cleaner with some Simple Green and some hot water, and let them rinse into that, and then if I have to, I'll put them in a little bit of Vapor Rust. That'll get the rest of it off. So let me go ahead and unscrew all that. Alright, so this is the bottom, so unsurprising, there's some tearing of the leatherette here. This piece is all there, it's just kind of loose. You can see it stick my fingers up here. So we can just get some contact cement, or actually I can probably just peel most of this, but yeah, it's coming right off. So this is just one little square piece. It's not connected to anything else. So I'm going to peel that off, put some contact cement down, and we'll put it back on. But if you're doing any of these boxes, go and get yourself a tack puller. It'll help you get those split rivets out, and then also these are nailed in from the bottom. So you got to get something to get in behind it here. Just loosen up that tack, and you can pull it right out without doing any damage to anything. Because if you try to grab it from this top here, because if you try to grab it from up here and heel it over, you're going to bend it. But this will get right under the tab. Work it in there, get it a little loose, and then pop that little square nail right off. And like I said, this piece really isn't connected to much. Yeah, this has been wet. That's old glue and a little bit of mildew, so when we clean that off, we'll clean that all off. You can see it's its own piece. Yeah, so that's definitely some dampness on there. We'll get that all cleaned off. We'll put some contact cement on there, and we'll just use these holes here, and we can line it right back up again and stick it on. Okay, so I have the box stripped. I'm going to throw all these parts here in the ultrasonic cleaner with some cleaning solution, and then we'll pull them out and see what they look like after. Before I start cleaning this leatherette up, I want to get at least the bulk of the nasties off of this, just so it's not going on my clean surface when I clean it. And I'm going to use a Dremel to do this. Now I could take these off, it's totally possible, but I just don't want to have to mess with these rivets again. I don't think I have any left from the last rebuild. I might have 3 or 4, but not enough to do everything. So I'm going to try to clean these in place. And I got a couple of Dremel tools. So I have the, the one with the wand here, and I have one of these little spin-in detail cleaning brush things, and I also have this one. Just reach over here, it's on the charger, this cordless one, and this one has a little abrasive wheel on it, and it's really gentle. This one here is actually my favorite Dremel. They don't make it anymore though, and I'm kind of sad. It's speed controlled and it's cordless, but when you grab it, you hold it pretty much like this. So unlike, say, this one, which you hold more like a pencil, after using this for a while, you get the little carpal tunnel grip thing. This one, at least for me, is wide enough. You can see how fat it is at the bottom. That fits in the palm of your hand, and you still have all the fine control by holding it like this, but you're gripping it more with your palm, so you don't get the, you know, the lobster claw hand afterwards. So anyway, I'll show you how this works here. Let's zoom in again. I have these on a slow speed, about half speed, and you can see what that's doing there. Now to get any of those abrasive marks off, we can just use this one here. And that kind of smooths it out. I think I need to charge this one for a little bit. But I'm going to go and do all of the hardware like that. That doesn't look too bad. And then afterwards I have these polishing pads. We can put a little bit of compound on those and polish those up to a nice shine. Okay, so we have them cleaned off. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of green polishing compound and a polishing wheel on the Dremel, and we're going to have at it. And there you go. So I'm going to go at it with some progressively finer and just get these shadows out as best I can. It's never going to be perfect, but it looks a hell of a lot better than it did. So this here is the top. This is probably the dirtiest spot. I don't want to blow out the camera that much, but let's get some light in here so you can kind of see the handprints here, all along here. What I have in a little bucket right here is Murphy's oil soap mixed to the instructions. It's a 1/4 cup per gallon, so it's about half a gallon, so I use half of that. And we're going to scrub all surfaces of this box, this leatherette and the drawer fronts, everything. And so just wet everything first, and then this is just one of those blue non-scratch pot scrubbers. And then we're going to take paper towel and you can see what that took off. So we're going to do all surfaces of this box, all the outsides and all the drawer fronts too, and get this all cleaned up, and then we're going to let it dry for a little bit. While this is drying, I'm going to polish the hardware once it comes out of the ultrasonic cleaner. That's that noise you can hear in the background. So you guys get to skip the scrubbing, and I will get to it. Okay, so we got a big old box of shiny bits now. And now it's the time to tackle a leatherette. This is in pretty good shape. I got a few little, cuts here and there on the front cover here. Now, I did some research and I saw on the Gerstner forums that somebody had recommended using the shoe dye, the leather dye, and leather polish. So we're going to try that. We're going to try it in an inconspicuous area first. So, trying to find something that's faded here. Maybe we'll try this corner first. So, try that. Now I said to let it soak in and then wipe it off before it was completely dry. And actually, I don't know if the light's picking it up, but you can definitely see a marked difference there. So let's see if it picks. You can kind of see this. Let's see if it hides these. They're still there, but it doesn't look as visible. You can see it at certain angles, but you can definitely see where I hit that with the dye. So this looks like a pretty good plan. So we're going to do that to all of it. And, well, obviously have to let it dry. That's actually pretty good. I mean, I can still see some of the worn spots, but that definitely changes the color a lot. I don't know if the camera picks it up. That makes it look pretty good. Okay, so the dye's all done. It's dry. You put this directly over it, the Howard feed-in wax. Alrighty, so there it is, all cleaned up. So here's all the hardware. That's the top. All the hardware is all cleaned up and reinstalled. All these screws are brand new on here rather than polishing the old ones. Cleaned up all these trays that were in here. So just took some acetone, got all the stickies off of there. Those cleaned up nice. So it still have the front plate. This just comes off with 4 little tacks in the corner. I want to strip this and probably just give it a nice coat of paint. So that's the first thing that you're going to see. But, that lives in there like so. And the drawer hardware is all set. And you can see the finish is pretty much 100% intact. Not a scratch on them. So I do have to build this new drawer, but that'll be the next project. Build a new drawer and either find a replacement for this, have somebody make me a replacement this, or learn how to make it myself. We'll see what happens. But other than that, the bulk of this is done. So thanks for watching this video, and we will see you on the next one.